Thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal Show, brought to you by eBodyboarding.com and Tribe Boards. Hey folks, Jay Reale back at you with another episode of The Real Deal Show. And man, I am so honored to be in the presence of this god of bodyboarding. This man, if you don't know who he is, you should, because folks, this is six-time World Bodyboarding Champion Guilherme Tamega. What's up, Guilherme?
Hi, Jay.
Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you too. Been a long time.
Well, I want to point out something. It has been a long time, by the way. And I said Guilherme Tamega because a lot of people call you Tamega. Mm-hmm. That's not the right way to pronounce your last name, right?
Yeah,
it's
you're
Tamega.
Right. You're right, Jay.
The accent Tamega on the first syllable, the A.
Yep.
And there's even like a little triangle accent thing that's a Portuguese character to show you there's an accent over the Tamega.
Which I removed when I came to America.
Oh, you did?
They don't
understand that.
Just take that off, make it simple.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But mega is a real marketable term in English, so you kind of went with it and, you know, used it in the marketing of your name to it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Mega sounds cool in English.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
The mega world.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. I just wanted to make sure. So we're recording this in mid-October 2023. You are 51 years old, right?
That's correct.
Turned 51 last month in September.
Yep.
Right? And you are still an absolute beast in and out of the water. We're going to get to all of that, but let's just talk about some of the titles. This stuff's been covered before, but you have 6 world titles. We know that. 6 runner-ups to the world title.
Yep.
I think 5 of your world titles were the GOB World Tour, and 1 was Pipeline, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And the Pipeline one is super memorable because it was in 1994. Mm-hmm. And if anybody has seen the 1994 pipe event, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. It was absolutely like the biggest pipe has ever been for that event before and since. Patty Serrano is, by the way, in the background here making noise. Patty. She's a legend in her own right. We're going to get to her at some point during the Real Deal Show evolution. We will certainly interview Patty because I have a lot of history with her. But back to you, GT. So 6 runner-ups, 2 ISA titles. That's the world, what used to be called the World Surfing Games. Now it's called, I don't even know what it's called now, the ISA. I think it might still be the World Surfing Games.
Still, yeah.
6-time Brazilian champ.
6-time Brazilian champ.
3-time Shark Island Challenge winner. Mm-hmm. Geez, I'm reading I had to write all this stuff down because there's so many accolades for GT. And with all of those, you got your first title. You were 21 years old at that Pipeline event. And your last world title was in 2002. So that was 21 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then you retired in 2015. So with all of those amazing accomplishments, what stands out as your most proud accomplishment in bodyboarding, competitively speaking?
I think hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even give him a chance to say hello.
Is the first time you'll never forget.
Yeah.
The first time, the 1994. Yeah, check on YouTube. It's over there. You guys can see. It was the biggest pipeline ever, and was a dream come true. It was huge for me and my family in Brazil. The Brazilian bodyboarding community was huge. Like I was literally feeling like treated a celebrity when I went back home, and ice cream stand guys like complimenting me, like, "Hey, what's up, champ?" Like I was like, what's going on here? Full on have a celebrity life. Not only that was a result of all the care and the work, but the first title was huge. It was huge for me. I was really focused. I really want that. You know, since the beginning, I got all the places all the way until the first. Like I got fourth, and then the year next I got third, and then the year next I got second. And that year, 1994, I was like, okay, this is it. Or is either first or nothing. And you know, you're there. And what was that song you sung at the party? Was,
I don't know. We did a different one every time.
Yeah, or something. You're gonna die or something. I'll never forget. But yeah, it was nuts.
Well, you used to say, I think at that event, like you had this mindset where you were willing to die to win that contest. Like
Yeah,
you didn't care about your own safety.
I was. I even today I watched the video. I was like, no way I'm able to do this kind of stuff. Like no, it's impossible.
Crazy. Even now,
Like,
based on today's standards, it's crazy what you were doing out there.
yeah, I literally, I remember paddling for a 10 foot, 12 feet pipeline closeout. I was like, I'm gonna hit right there. I see that monster thing closing out. I was like, I'm gonna hit right there. And no way I would even try to paddle for those kind of waves today. And just that's the real focus and real driven mentality I had that day.
Well, if you believe that, all you got to do is look at this, which was taken 4 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, this is another blessing from pipeline.
He still does paddle for those kind of waves, folks.
Yeah, GT, a little bit of help, a backwash helped on this, but it's just the blessing of the wave. I love that wave so much. The relationship I have with the pipeline is out of this world. It's a great energy.
Yeah, and you know that brings up another point. You're not only yourself, you and Mike Stewart, both, you know, probably the winningest bodyboarders ever, both have that deep relationship with pipeline, because in the early days, pipeline is where we did crown the world champions, where you won your first world title. So that intimate relationship has now developed into a career for you, but I don't want to get to that just yet because it's very important to talk about that. You're back in your pro days. Let's go back to the very beginning. You started out in Copacabana, right? That's your home beach.
Yeah.
What was the peak along that stretch of beach that you used to ride the most?
Yeah, the Posto Cinco was my home break, which is, I live right on that street and was the best spot in Copacabana. I think even that God placed me in the right spot. So I grew up on that, learned how to bodyboard on that. I bought a Mori Boogie 139. I remember my dad gave me as a present. And that was one of the best days of my life, really.
And the board was probably gigantic, too.
Yeah, it's the 139 without the sleek bottom.
Yeah. Right.
Which is like the Aussies.
Yep.
And that was my first board. And I even remember when I got the board, me and my brothers started running to the beach. Let's try this thing out. And I caught the first wave. When I caught the wave and I went like this, I started I lost the rail and started going sideways all the way to the shore. I was like, okay, this is harder than I thought.
Right.
Unforgettable day. And that's the best spot, one of the best bodyboard spots in Rio.
And you used to wear duck feet too, as I recall, the early days.
Yeah, I always loved duck feet because there's a lot of power to it. It's a super long fin. You guys, most of the guys know about the duck fin, and it's just powerful, and I love it.
Well, Daniel Kaimi, the first Mori pipeline champion, wore those fins as well. So obviously, tons of power, but that was back in the day. So you had an amazing competitive career, and the one thing I think, that was really interesting, being six-time world champion, you had you were sort of a second generation of pro bodyboarders. The first generation was older guys like Mike Stewart, Pat Caldwell, Ben Severson. Mm-hmm. You were the next generation, so you really pushed things as you came up in the sport, and there was a changing of the guard at some point, as we say in English, and that was on the GOB tour where Mike Stewart had dominated the sport for so many years. And here comes this young Brazilian guy, and you shook things up. You started winning events all the time, and you won the first GOB World Tour, which was in 1995, was the first year we had a full World Tour. And everybody went, well, that's it. Now this is the new guy. This is the new guy. Did you really feel like you wanted to take Mike out? Was that a target for you? Or were you just focused, I want to win the world tour? Or was it both? You wanted to beat Mike and take the world title?
I knew to win the world title, I need to beat Mike. Mike was the man, and always been. I have huge respect, and he always be the GOAT, the greatest guy ever, bodyboarder ever, and I knew I have to beat him to accomplish what I want to accomplish, the world title, and I did that, and I was really focused to beat Mike. He was my goal, and the whole goal, and I knew if I focus on him, everything else was gonna be accomplished, and that what happened. Happened that way, and I knew I have something special too. I was type of rider. I was really complete from a 1 foot wave all the way to 15.
Yes.
So there was not many guys good at that, and as complete as that I was. That's why I won the GOB 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
I agree, and from my perspective, I saw that you had as much intensity in 1 foot surf as you did in 15-foot surf. It didn't matter to you how the waves were. What mattered to you was maximizing your riding for the waves that we were given. And where other guys would maybe complain if the waves were small, oh, I lost because it was 1 to 2 feet. You never did that. You just went at it no matter what the surf was like.
Yes. One thing that helped is growing up in Copacabana and Rio, the conditions there, it's majority of the time it's small.
Yeah.
So we grow up in a small bad waves, and that's great. If you want to be good at something, be good at the bad part of it, which is the good part is easy.
Yeah.
Which is just it fits like a glove. So that happens in my career and my life, and I'm really fortunate it went the way it was. And I was really focused too. I was like you said, it doesn't matter how big, how good the waves were. It's good for everybody, and just close your mouth, do what you gotta do. If it's windy, if it's bad, if it's onshore, if it's small or big, it's the same condition for everybody, and just be focused.
Yeah.
And I was.
And it worked for you. 6 world titles is good, and 6 runner-up. That's pretty amazing. That's an amazing career. And it should be noted that, as we said, 5 of your world titles were on a full tour, right? In the early days, I don't want to take away from Mike's accomplishments. His world titles were 1 event at Pipeline, which is a very specific wave that suits certain strengths, and other riders don't have those strengths. But you competed in everything from Pipeline to Portugal to Brazil to Japan and everything in between in all kinds of waves. So winning a tour to me is an amazing accomplishment, especially the early days of the tour where the best riders in the world were all there. So pretty amazing. And one other thing I want to mention, GT, is you, to me, were the first rider to bring training into professional bodyboarding. Mm-hmm. Before you, everyone just went for a surf. Mm-hmm. You came in, you started training outside of bodyboarding to win your world titles, right? Talk about that.
Yeah. My dad always pushed me, like, enough waves, go work out, go be stronger, go do this, go do that. I was like, okay. And that kind of mentality helped me that, okay, the wave part, the technique is there. I have that. Now I got to make the machine stronger. And so I have a complete machine that involves everything. And that's what sometimes I work out my body and my mind more than on the surf per se.
Yep.
Sometimes I didn't surf before my heat, a day before my heat, and go straight to the heat like a complete machine, focused and ready to to destroy.
And that was your diet and everything you changed?
Yeah. When I moved to California, I just Oceanside right now, just having thousands of flashbacks. I love this city. You know, Patty was the one that that welcomed me here, and you know, my first townhouse. Patty was the one that buy this because Oceanside's gonna grow like crazy.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I was telling my wife, I was like, I bought this condo for $115,000,
Wow.
and I wish I bought this whole condo
Oh
because
my
I would be a
God.
millionaire today.
I remember where that place was. It was very close to the beach, like 1 or 2 blocks in from the beach.
Yeah. Anyways, it's and I live for that. I have a personal trainer. I used to weigh my nutrition. I had like 3,000 calories a day that I had to eat, 6 meals a day, and measuring like grams of chicken, grams of steak, like a snack was a whey protein in between, and I was a really build machine to accomplish every year. That was my life, and I didn't take for granted. You know, no drugs, no alcohol, just pure like focus machine.
Wow, so I was ordering Papa John's. Apparently I did something wrong. That's why I never won a world title. Damn it. So yeah, I mean, that was amazing that you brought training into it and influenced a lot of riders after you to kind of do the same. One thing I want to point out, and this was often mentioned in the bodyboarding media, was your style of riding was very different than, say, Mike Stewart, who was your rival at the time. You had a very radical style, some might say a reckless style in big surf. You would just hit the lip on crazy sections. The way you rode your board, your body position was very different. Some people gravitated towards your style, some gravitated towards Mike's. Did you get a lot of people mentioning that to you sometimes?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, and it was visible too.
Yeah.
Just from watching, you see the difference, and that's from a lot from growing up. My first real bodyboard was a Mach 7. I didn't have other options.
Yep.
So the Mach 7 was hitting my chest.
Yes.
So my style built up on the, I had to grab the rail on my nose on the side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I still grab on the side.
Yeah.
Mike Stewart is in the front of the nose.
Right.
Mine's on the side.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's how my whole style adapt. For what I learned, what I had in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Because everything molds from the beginning.
Sure.
Right. So I built this own style that worked for me. They even say that it's kind of froggy. Yeah, the frog 360.
Yeah, your knees are out a little more when you do the spin.
Yeah. Which was adapted by a bunch of Brazilians and Latino in general, right? Argentina, a bunch of places, even Canary Islands, a bunch of people rides pretty similar to mine. Like other places, like Australia and Europe, there's a lot of line to it, a lot of style. They really worry about how they position. It looks good, it doesn't look good, and you see the difference, you know. But the way I ride worked for me, and I never care about, I never really was worried about how good I look on my board.
Yeah.
But how am I gonna hit the lip?
Yeah.
How am I gonna do a roll on that big wave? Or how am I gonna, shred a 12-feet pipe?
Yep.
That was what I was worried about. And when I take off on a wave, I always it's like a program. I look at the wave, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything programs and go into my mind, I'm gonna do this and that, and then maybe I'm gonna finish with another one. And I always been like that, programmed, and the style just came with it.
Yep.
I didn't work on it, I wasn't worried about that, and I just, for me it was just about, being radical, like you said.
And it worked. It did.
Yeah.
As evidenced by your success competitively. Okay, so let's talk about, at some point, you were living here in California. You ended up in Hawaii. How did you choose to move to Hawaii? What caused you to move over there or prompted you to?
Well, I never miss a Hawaii winter season since 1988.
Wow.
Like it's just every year, looking for a house, looking for a rental, and this and that, and and then every year the same thing. And be a professional bodyboarder, I could basically live anywhere in the world. My check was coming in through the mail, and that was my job. Win events. Be a professional bodyboarder. So when I met my wife, we got married, and a year later, a couple months later, she got pregnant. And we went to the pipe event there, and we find out she was pregnant there, and we were like, we're staying here. We're not leaving Hawaii anymore. My kid's gonna born in Hawaii. That's what my heart is. That's what the waves pipeline is. Basically, that's my connection to that wave, and we're not leaving anymore. We're staying here. And we haven't lived since then. 18 years. 18
years in Hawaii. And do you guys have U.S. citizenship now?
Oh yeah. We've been Americans for over 10 years.
Longer than Vicky. Vicky's 4 years now. So yeah. You got her beat.
It was Obama.
So
beginning of Obama.
Yeah. So I mentioned you had retired as a pro bodyboarder in 2015. Were you still getting paid to be a pro bodyboarder all the way until 2015?
All the way to the end.
Okay.
Yep.
And this was, who were your main sponsors? I know Wave Rebel was a big
Wave Rebel always been, they were amazing. I've been part of the company for ages, all the way to the end.
Yep.
I was basically on the payroll of the company.
Okay.
Pretty much, and they started making more boards, low-end boards. They got out of the high-end stuff. They started making the epoxy bottom.
Yep.
Which I loved it. It was a great board, but they have some issues with the build and the whole quality of the products made in China, but. The whole concept of the epoxy was great.
Yeah, we used to sell those.
Yeah. But I'm very grateful that I could prolong my career and go as far as I want, even more. I was kind of over it already, but everything's still happening. Why not?
Yeah, so
I just kept on going.
Why the decision to retire?
Because I don't work on 80%, Jay. I don't work on a 70%. You're probably the same way.
Yeah.
We got to be 100% sure and 100% focused. I want to do this before, for the past 5 years on the tour, I already kind of over it inside. And I wasn't really going anywhere. It was fun, great waves and everything. But I need to be 100%. Otherwise, I just take off and get out.
Well, it makes sense because you had achieved a goal 6 times that most people never get a chance to experience. What else is there in the sport? And, now there's a new crop of guys coming up who are very hungry. And, I understand it too. I lost my competitive fire, if you want to say that, for bodyboarding competitively a long time ago. It was fun while I did it, and I think it's the same for you, but there's other things that make you happy now, and you've moved on to those other things.
Yeah, I need to be challenged.
Yeah.
It's something that challenges me.
So
bodyboarding, I pretty much won everything. I beat pretty much everybody. The newer guys, haven't competed with a bunch of the newer guys, but that doesn't really open my eyes or just, challenges me. Really,
and there are guys that still have that competitive fire. I guess Jeff Hubbard, he's 48. He's still competing at a top level.
Yeah.
Mike's having a stab at it at 60 years old. I won't say that Mike's, completely. I interviewed him on this podcast, and he said, I just really want to see how if I could still do it. He didn't seem to care if he lost or won, but it was just an experiment for him. And for you, you needed to be challenged, which brings me to the next thing, the Ironman thing. Mm-hmm. So that was the next challenge for you, am I right?
Yeah. I started doing triathlon. I'm a lifeguard. We work out and train every single day. And on the summertime, North Shore is completely flat. So I do a lot of running and swimming, and I love riding my bike. You know, sometimes I go like 50 miles to work riding my bike, and I loved it. And that brought me into, okay, I'm gonna start doing the sprint. And then I entered in a sprint triathlon, and I got second place in my age group. And the guy in first was right in front of me. I didn't know he was the guy who was gonna win.
You could have caught him.
Yeah, if I knew, I would have caught him. if I knew.
I always wish they had your age on the back.
Yeah. But anyways, I think I can do this. This is fun. And then I started training. And the same year, that was like February, March.
Yep.
March, April, May, like April, May. And then on the same year, I entered on the half Ironman on Honu.
Mm-hmm.
On
the Big Island. Yep.
And I ended up being the best Hawaiian resident of my age group. And they called me, inviting me for the Kona, which is October.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, let's do this.
Yes.
And okay, I started training, and then I pay $1,000. You need to have $1,000 right on the spot.
Yeah. It's an expensive sport.
Just take my credit card. You know, let's do this. And then okay, now we're gonna just double everything I did. You know, all the training I did, just double it.
Twice as
and let's
much.
do this. And that's what I did. I have a lot of support from Boca too. Boca Hawaii is a Brazilian guy that has this awesome shop, and he has some coaching training.
Yeah.
Coaching training to the Big Island and the events. So I went to Big Island, spent 5 days training with them, and that helped me a lot. And I did it. And 9:45. First time ever.
Now let me point out something. I've done 11 Ironmans and never come even close to 9 hours and 45 minutes for 100. And you know, the whole distance of the Ironman, 140.6 miles. If you count the swimming, bike, and run, it's a long day out there. So this guy, his first shot, he gets into the Ironman World Championships and goes 9:45, probably near the top of your age group, somewhere near the top.
Yeah, I think it was top 50, right?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So after that event at Kona, didn't you do another Honu?
I did
like
another
the next
Honu.
year?
Yeah,
that's the half Ironman qualifier.
Yeah, I did the Honu again the year follow, and I qualified again. So here's my credit card again. I was, oh God, this thing is expensive. Anyways, I entered again, but right in the middle of my training, I promised myself after I finished the first Ironman, I was like, this is it. I'm not doing it anymore. This is crazy. Like I was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And sure enough, next year everything rolled out again, and I would say, okay, let's do this. And I started training. I was like, you know what? No. I said, no, it's no. I'm out. I'm not gonna do it. And some stuff happened too, and on the way that you know what? I'm not gonna do it. And I just gave up on it. But I did the Honu. The Honu is really fun. The half Ironman is beautiful scene. Big Island is the paradise of triathlon.
Did you beat your time from the year before?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No. I fell.
The weather conditions have a lot to do with that.
I fell on the bike.
From the
I
wind?
had an accident. No, this guy, I was passing this guy, and this guy, all of a sudden, I was like, oh! All of a sudden, he hit me. And I flew off my bike.
Oh my
like
God.
full on backflip on it. Landed on asphalt. My bike was all like crooked. I tried to uncrook my bike and kept on going. I finished. I did everything, but I lost a pretty good time there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I just cruise, but I'm really competitive. You know how I am. I can't. If you like, man, like.
I can see you getting upset now. So many years later.
On the Ironman, on the last mile.
Yeah.
I put on my head like, okay, 9:45. I visualized 9:45 time before, and on the last mile of the marathon, right at the end, all these guys that passed me on the run, I was like, okay, guys, get ready because I'm coming. All of a sudden, I was like, let's go! I started sprinting the last mile like crazy. You know, the last finish, and where everybody, all the public is waiting for the people. Everybody was screaming, like, who the heck, like 500 place is going to be sprinting the last mile of the Ironman. Sure enough, when I watched the time was 9:45, exactly the time I wanted.
Oh my God!
I was visualizing, and if I did not sprint that time, I would never get that time.
A lot of people that do that, they sprint the last whatever half mile, they pass out when they hit the finish line because they spend every bit of energy.
Yeah,
in that
I tried,
last
but
part of the race.
Thank God it worked.
Well, so there's the Ironman Guilherme achieving another challenge, and you mentioned, you were a lifeguard, which meant you trained a lot during the summer when it's flat on the North Shore. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk about how you got into lifeguarding. Let's talk about that. You transitioned from pro bodyboarder to North Shore lifeguard, the heaviest place in the world to be a lifeguard. How does that happen? Stay tuned for part 2 of my interview with Guilherme Tamega, coming soon.